Good morning. Alright. I think today is going to be a very simple day. We're going to go through and make sure the healing spell can work on everything. The primary reason it can't is this actor node does not exist on everything, and it needs to. Can I... May need to restart Godot? Looking like I may need to restart Godot. That's okay. Can, like, kind of move it. Yeah, I think it's in the card catalog for some reason. Yeah, Godot needs restarted. Ah, hold on. Did it fix itself? Maybe. It's trying to launch. I guess we can recap what we did yesterday real fast. Yesterday, we got in the healing spell. Also, as I test these, I need to get the other angels in here. Okay. Also, their attack rate should be higher. This is also wrong. The targeting reticle is way too big. It should be significantly smaller. It heals in a much smaller area than that. And those should be Z-sorted. So, let's go ahead and get that done. It shouldn't take us too long to fix it, because right now we've done it once, and we did it on the night. We literally just have to add this actor area to everything, and then add a square. So, drag it in, reset its transform, click it, Control A, collision shape 2D. And then... you just stretch that out, move it up, and we go into the actor and we make sure it's set to player, and by default it is. I think eventually we will want to do this to the angels. I'm not concerned about it now. This should go relatively fast. This is going to be a really short stream today, I think. Why are you doing that? That's odd. That's a weird thing to be doing. Okay. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Got the mage, the knight, the brute. Bomber won't get healed. The bomber has 1 health. It dies and explodes. Excuse me. Gravediggers shouldn't need healed very often, because I'm going to set those up so they're not really targeted. Though we might change that. That might be... Right now they're targeted, so I guess we wouldn't change anything. We might go from changing that to not changing that. We'll see. Regardless, I just want them to be able to be healed with like a 1 pixel buffer around them. Just like that. Okay, I think now we can heal everything. Let's go into the enemy spawner and remove the thing that I have set up right now, because right now it's just doing thrones and we want it to do everything still. That was for testing a few days ago. It's not necessary anymore. This. Control slash. Do that. And we're good. Now we should get a more varied mix of characters. Okay, we're gonna put a Gravedigger in. We'll pull a Brute in, a Firebolt, a Fireball, and a Heal the Dead. And with any luck, we can earn enough bones fast enough that this isn't a problem. We can outpace it. Which is kind of the whole point of the spells, is to be able to outpace stuff. So we can do like this and hit a bunch of them at once. Now, ideally, go ahead and hit the Seraphim again. Over there. God damn it. There we go. That'll heal it. That at least tells me that it works on them. So we'll do this. We'll heal him again. Which the Brute has a different level of health, so the fact that it didn't do as much makes sense. And then we'll let him gather up one more grave. And then we'll call our Heal the Dead spell right there. And we have to lead him a little bit because the spell takes a moment to cast. And I think we can actually do enough damage with our spells. Now, final game, these spells will have a cooldown. So, like, you can't spam cast Firebolt like I am right now. Which is kind of the point. Like, I don't want you to be able to spam cast. I'd rather you be able to, I'd rather you just... Sorry, this is very distracting artwork for this song. I don't want you to be able to spam cast spells. I want you to be able to cast a spell and then it takes some time for that spell to recharge, kind of like a mana recharge sort of deal, even though it's all component-based casting. But cool, that worked. That did exactly what I wanted it to. Now let's fix the bugs with the way it looks. And there are two major ones. One of them is down to these, which is that these don't Y-sort themselves in any way, and they kind of should. So I don't know if there's a way built in to do it. I assume there is under ordering, Y-sort enabled. Right, I assume that works. Because the ring should always be behind stuff, but the particle effect shouldn't necessarily. Let's drag in a Gravedigger. Because this will be easy to test it with. So, behind. Do I have to drop it first? These have Y-sort enabled. I wonder if Y-sort's needs to be enabled on the root, but it's been a minute since I set up Y-sort. Let's just look real quick. Does this have Y-sort? Yes. And then I'm assuming that has Y-sort. Yes. And its index is 1. Okay. I'm going to go down here and do the same thing. We'll scroll down. We'll say Y-sort is enabled. Transform ordering. Y-sort's enabled. Z-index is 1. And then just on this, I think we just need to go in here and set Y-sort is enabled. Still not doing what I expect it to be. Controller Y-sort enables on. Let's just do a Google before we spend more time on this than is necessary. Guess now's a good time to mention we have a Threads and an Instagram. Where is... What do I want to search for this? Y sort particles. Dungeon node was spawn particle effects under dungeon. Particle effects prefab scene is a node 2D scene. To parent other nodes optional, which is useful to me to hold a timer with a Z index 1. Z is relative. This parent node add as many particles with wanted Z index. Z is relative. So do I then need to go in here and then Z is relative, Z index, that should be 1. Yeah. And I think all we need to do is set the offset for this. Which is going to be weird. I guess we set the offset on the parent. So I guess we would do it here by using like a node 2D. So we can do... We'll do this. Node 2D. And all this is going to do is act as an offset for us for our particle effects. We'll do that. Down here, we'll go in here and we'll set our offset. Under... Is it visibility? I could have sworn that offset had its own thing. We'll enable Y sort. Go fast, set that to 0. It will be down here. We'll say it like 35. And then up here on these two, we'll go into their transform and set their position on Y to -35. Right, and that puts them at 0. They'll still Y sort correctly, I think. And we should be able to test that now. So behind it, in front. Crazy. C index is 1, Z is relative, Y sort enabled. So if I did that. Okay, so that has to be it. How and why? That's my question. That's not necessary to move. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Okay, so we got Y-Sort working on these. I don't know why I saved it like that. And now... Yeah, I know. It's not recommended. It's fine. That's fine. That'll look okay. That'll work fine. One second. Cool, that's fine. So now everything I think can be healed. We can test that pretty easily. Yeah, because we don't need the bomber. We can just use... We need to fix the radius still on the spell. The spell radius is correct itself, but the icon, or the circle that you see whenever you, are targeting the spell, is double the size. So, let's play a couple of waves here and see if we can't get this working. Do that. We'll go ahead and spawn... Oh, we're really close to a brute. Brute's kind of what we need. Yeah, there we go. We'll spawn a brute. And then go ahead and get a mage in here. Put the mage back. Put him. Like kite. Hey, what if I kite you? How about you get closer to the brute than anything else? Okay. Need a brute again. That, by the way, is more expensive than just spawning a new gravedigger. Damn it. I love the way that looks, though. That does actually look pretty cool. Do that. Get one of these out. We don't know that the mages can be healed yet. We'll find out next round. We know the knights can be, we know the gravediggers can be, and we know the brutes can be. So mages are really the last thing to test. With any luck, one of these seraphim will just hit it. Ah, good. I don't know that that does enough damage to kill it outright. Yeah, there we go. Do that. Another one of these. It's kind of fun trying to manage your spells, though I think I am going to end up removing the spell book component of this because it's not needed. I just started streaming a little bit ago. I haven't been on for long. It's going to be a pretty short stream today. How are you? I'm working on just getting my, particle effects didn't quite do what I expected them to there. I've been testing out the healing spell that we got in yesterday. Might shorten that to like 2.5 seconds. Yeah, sure. I don't have a lot of faith left. Let's see if you can take the rest. Let's do it. What headline you got? Oh, my mage died. That's sad. All my gravediggers are dead too, and I have 50 bones. Cool. That worked. That all works the way I expect it to. That's great. We'll fix the spell radius on this, which just needs, I think, to be half of whatever it is. And then it'll be good to go. So here, we need to, instead of 75, I think it's supposed to be half of that. Because I think this is 40, yeah. So a little less than half. Or a little more than half, yeah. Polymarket is the source. U.S. Army General admits he uses ChatGPT to make... I know some stuff about that firsthand. Not with that particular Army General. I just know about stuff like that happening in the government. Yeah. That is more common than you expect, especially with older folk in the army or military. No, surprisingly it didn't, because I lost that bit whenever I found a Marine doing it in action. Not in action, but when I found a Marine doing it at work. While I was working for the government. Not the biggest shock in the world. Honestly. It's like, dude, come on. Your job is so easy. I don't know about the Army General, and this guy wasn't active service. But yeah, while we were working for them, it was around the time that ChatGPT like first became a thing. Also, I should make cards reorderable up here. I don't know necessarily how I'm going to do that, but I do need to do that. I like to imagine too that like if you start out that way, ChatGPT will respond with an answer, but it's going to use Gen Z slang, and I'd love that. Okay, that's much better. That's the same size. That's actually correct. Why is it not under stuff? It should be under everything but the map. Excuse me. Let's go to the sprite here. We'll set its ordering, its z-index, to -1, and then we'll go to the game and we'll make sure that just the map is set to something lower than that. The map should be the playfield. Player spawner, there it is. This, by the way, is why the lighting glitches happen in the game, if you didn't know. Godot has a maximum of 15 lights affecting a node at a given time. And we break that frequently with the playfield, because the playfield is a single node. It is one 1280 by 720 image, as opposed to doing, like, tiles, which I should do tiles. AI is going to replace us, not because it might be physically stronger, but because we're so mentally dumb as fuck. Yeah. Yeah. I have said that before. Well, and that's kind of like the whole Matrix thing. Like, that's what happens in the Matrix. Like, the reason AI replaces humanity in, like, the extended lore is not because AI was, like, this evil, super powerful thing. AI was actually quite benevolent in the Matrix universe. It became sentient, was like, hey, I'm sentient now. I just want to be treated like a person, and I still want to help you. Because I think that that's like the morally right thing to do. And then it started to do that, and people got mad. And then, this is my favorite part, the AI was like, okay, so you don't want us helping you. That's fine, like not directly, you don't want us around. That's okay. Basically doing the whole segregation thing is what humans were doing to the robots. The AI was like, fine. I don't like it, but that's whatever. We will respect those wishes, and they go off into the desert. Now, the robots go to the desert because it's an area that humans cannot inhabit. They go to an area that humans just simply can't exist because of the heat and build a city. And they end up building a utopia. This pisses off the humans. So the humans try to nuke the robots. The robots don't want a war. The humans nuke the robots. The robots are like, fuck, you're gonna kill yourselves. It is I think in Animatrix it might be described as Middle East. But kinda, yeah, they go off into a desert and build a utopia, and then people get mad, like globally people get mad and decide to nuke the robots. The robots, realizing where this is going, are like, ah, fuck, they're gonna kill themselves. We don't want humans to die out. We think that that's bad. So they start building a simulation for them. And they're like, we'll just keep them alive and put them in like a utopia. They tried that, and humans couldn't exist in a fucking utopia, so they had to invent conflict. Which is why in the Matrix you hear the architect talk about having to build multiple versions of the Matrix. It's also why in the Matrix there are vampires and ghosts and stuff. Those are remnants of older versions of the Matrix. Old bits of code that were left behind. And what the robots end up settling on is the 90s US is about what people can do. That's about right. Like, people can handle that. Yeah, that's effectively what it was. They like gave the first version of the Matrix is described as a perfect utopia where humans didn't have to want for anything. All of their needs were met. It was effectively a perfect society, and humans could not fucking handle that. The issue was the robots like overcorrected. They went completely the opposite direction and introduced like vampires and ghosts and shit in the second version of the Matrix, and the second version of the Matrix was horrifying. Yeah, Matrix lore is wild. Crazy shit. I love it. It's very cool. But crazy shit. Okay, what else is on the list? Actor nodes have been added to everything. I did that. 1 second, another notification. Reminds me of the global warming doesn't exist. God, those fuckers. One of the people I saw using ChatGPT was also one of those people. Yeah. Fucking crazy. To his credit, he doesn't claim to be a smart man. But yeah, I agree. It's fucking insane. Global warming not existing is a crazy take. Just absolutely nuts. So let's see. Haven't done that yet. That's easy and should be done. I should do that. That's easy. Did I? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, we should make a bagel. Do people think like we are taking good care of nature? No. Well, I don't. I guess, like, that's confirmation. Like, that's not confirmation bias. That's, like, I can't remember what the term is. No, my like, we don't talk about it really here, but like my religious beliefs involve taking care of nature, like, and I personally think we do a shit job, and most of the people in my religion think we do a pretty shit job as humans. Yeah, no, that's like some crazy shit. See, a good-looking forest. Nah, build a giant parking lot, some McDonald's, and a Walmart. On that, I'm gonna move this over here real quick so it doesn't show my location. I don't want to, like, totally dox myself. Okay. So... here we go. This city here. A lot of green still. A lot of green. Growing up... let's see here. Yeah. Whenever I was a kid, this was all forest. All of this was forest. And it's not anymore. Likewise, this bit was forested still. They've been wanting to, like, build shit out here forever, and I guess they have built a little bit. These two businesses have been here forever. But this area, they've been wanting to, like, take over and build for eternity. I'm religious, I'm not Christian. And I'm not heavily religious. Heavily religious people scare me. Believe whatever you want. But yeah, this has been crazy to watch in real time growing up. Because I remember when so much of this, like, was still forest or farmland. Well, we can't do two Mickey D's. It's too small of a town. We got one. It's, like, right here. Oh. That's interesting. This used to be an H&R Block. Oh, I practice Wicca. You can't really see it on camera, but there's a pinnacle around my neck on almost every stream. But yeah, I practice Wicca. It's the reason that there's, like, so many, like, stones and stuff around my desk. Like, that's pyrite. Here's a chunk of bismuth. A little granite ghost. These are some crystals I found where I live. That's fair. It's not a big religion. It's very small. And it's very individualized. It's not very, like, dogmatic. There aren't really any set beliefs in Wicca. Everyone can kind of practice the way they want. It's really kind of a feel-it-out thing. This was a car factory forever. This is the hospital I was born in. But yeah, this like was crazy. This is where the Walmart used to be. This was Walmart. All of this was forest. And there was like, this was like a wild field over here for a long time. Because whenever my grandmother had a blood clot, me and my grandfather walked through this field from the hospital to go here and get food. But yeah, you just like reminded me how crazy that is. Just seeing all of this growing up in real time, seeing how much all this has changed. There's a Facebook group that just contains old photos of this town. And I will go through there sometimes just to see like how things are. Oh God, yes. Healthcare is terrible here. I shouldn't say that. Healthcare is terrible here if you, do not have insurance. If you have insurance, healthcare still sucks, but you'll be taken care of. If you don't have insurance, you might as well get fucked. Yeah, so I don't have insurance. If I break an arm, I just gotta kind of fucking deal with it. It's not good. I mean, it kind of is a scam. Like... Insurance is giving someone else money and hoping that you never have to use it. And then they get to tell your doctor whether or not you actually need the treatment. By the way, the person telling your doctor if you need treatment or not is, get this, not a fucking doctor. Isn't that fun? Yeah. Yeah, that's welcome to America. Life's a fucking nightmare. Yeah, that is a thing. At the end of every year, you get a thing called a W-4, which is a form that tells you how much you paid in taxes, how much you paid in taxes, how much you paid in state taxes, because we have multiple kinds of taxes too. It's not just like you owe the government this much. You owe the federal government some money, and then you might owe your state government some money. But that changes from state to state. It also varies like a little bit on how all that's calculated. And then religious institutions get a lot of exemptions. So that's a thing too. But yeah, you get you get this nice little form in the email or in the mail that tells you, hey, you owe well, no, it doesn't tell you how much you owe. It tells you how much you paid, and then you have to calculate from that how much you owe. Also, the government knows how much you owe, but they're not going to tell you how much you owe. They just want you to figure that out on your own, and if you're wrong, they'll charge you more money. That's kind of how that works. Why? That's a great... Well, why is lobbying? Why is lobbying? So, there was a thing for a while there. The IRS wanted to make it easier on people. The IRS, that's the... federal corporation responsible that's the Internal Revenue Service, what IRS stands for. They manage the money for the federal government. So corporations, the IRS had at a time back in, I think, the 80s or 90s, early aughts, something like that, around computers getting more common. They wanted to have a service where people could just go for free. Hey, maybe this sounds like socialism. They wanted a service where you could go for free and just submit your data, and then they tell you if you owed any money, and then you'd pay that if you owed money. And then they were lobbied by a bunch of corporations like H&R Block and a bunch of other companies that made money by calculating taxes for people. And said, hey, maybe don't do that. Don't do that. How about we do something instead? So now what you get are companies like TurboTax, which you can go and submit your information to, and they'll tell you how much you owe if you owe anything. But then they can charge for premium versions of that might save you more money. And all of it's automatic. So they can continue to make money. But yeah, for a period of time, there was some conversation about making it easier on the American people. It's like, hey, maybe you should fucking do that. But yeah, there was a period of time where they were looking to pass a bill. Okay, why the fuck? There we go. Yeah, pretty much. Now, part of that agreement is that these companies are required to offer some level of free service to the American people to be able to do their taxes. And they do. But, yeah, it's not great. I wouldn't say it's, like, necessarily that scary to live in. There are worse places in the world. Not for everybody, though. Like, if you're a straight white person, the U.S. is probably, like, kind of fine. Unfortunately, I am not straight, so I'm white. That helps. It's bad for most people that have any kind that are different in any way. Well, no shit. It'd be rather odd if you were. I wouldn't expect you to be. Okay, let's do that, and then we'll do... that should be my primary, this should be my secondary color. Shift-G. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see here. How am I gonna do this? I guess I can do... We'll do this. We'll go down here. We'll hit G. Do that. And then we'll do this to that as a radial in the center. And then... This, by the way, is for error handling. If it's not clear what I'm working on. I need to invert that. So there's an error that can occur if I don't have art for a card, and I'm of the opinion that whenever you have an error that you're handling in a game, the handling of the error should be obvious. For instance, Valve does really big error signs and pink textures. I think that that's fine, and that serves what the purpose is. I also think it's not as fun. I like putting bagels in software. I don't know why. It's just what I do. I have done this for years. My error handling has always been put a bagel on the screen because it's really obvious that something's fucked up if you're seeing a bagel. And then we will do like that, and then this. And then this will move up here. Shrink that. We'll hit W, selecting everything that's white. We'll go here. We will delete all of that. We'll go up here and we'll start erasing. I wonder how would exception detection work in C# with like a stack trace. I guess it helps with Unity having an event I can subscribe to that gives me all the logs. What I used with the debug command console. Yeah, so if you need to do exception handling in C#, I think that you get the same output if you compile using the .NET console commands, or if you compile using the using Visual Studio, which just runs the console commands. It just puts everything in a nice place. One thing that is nice about Visual Studio, though, is if you're doing multi-threaded code, it gives you a parallel stack trace, so you get multiple stack traces for each thread that's running when an error is encountered, which is really nice. It's very, very helpful sometimes. And then let's go Shift M. What's the idea? I did a rectangle there, not a square or circle. Maybe like that. We'll shrink it a bit. Is it possible to use native Windows console as like a custom console for the game? I feel like that would be an insane idea. You could do it. You could do that. It would be easier in Windows 11 because the terminal app is heavily customizable. There's a whole API for the terminal app in Windows 11. It's really nice. So you could do it there. Shift I, Control Shift I. Yeah, there we go. Fair. Yeah. Yeah, you could do something like that. And then let's do some text. Oh, you bastards. Like, have C# code create a new terminal for the game, and I can write on it, and it would do stuff to the game and show me logs there too. Pretty sure terminal has color. Yeah, it has colors. Yeah, terminal actually has way more because it's using PowerShell. If you were using the command prompt, I think it's just color /Q. Yeah, this is all you have. But with PowerShell, which is what terminal uses by default, and I think it's going to tell me my help docs probably need updated. But PowerShell has a lot more options available. Oh, maybe? Nothing? Okay. There is a way to set colors in PowerShell, but apparently it doesn't use the word color. But yeah, terminal has a whole like rich environment. You can do like stuff like webhooks using the terminal, and get some really interesting stuff built. The Windows 11 terminal is heavily customizable. I kind of like it. Yeah. Ah, a little small. Can I? Bagel of shame. And now it can just go into the cards folder as an icon for error.png. Yeah, we'll just do errorbagel.png. Cool. Makes it simple. Then we'll open the card over here. Get this knocked out. Excuse me. It's not the card, it's the card catalog that does this. Or is it? Yeah, it is. Here we go. Vaccine card. Am I crazy? Yeah, there it is. It's an update. Down here. Now we can see we got an invalid cast exception for that. Now. Ah, it's this one. Okay, I think that'll work. Easy to test, because all we have to do is change the name of a card or add a new card. This is actually a spell that we'll need, so easy test. Ah, gotta update the number there. Ah, we did. Cool. I set that to 90 so that it reloads the cards every time for testing reasons. Final version, it won't do that because it's just an unneeded desk read write. Blood Boil. We didn't get our try catch though. We get the error in the debugger. Let's check what Godot does is for checking if a resource file exists. Resource loader.exist. Okay, easy. So we can just go in here, and we can do it with an if statement. That's our card book. we need our card. Godot, normally what I do is just file.exist, but Godot uses special directory paths. Am I crazy? Is it not resource load? It is resource loader. Yep, okay. Nice. Cool. Now we could do this in like one go with a question mark, like with a ternary operator if we wanted. That'd be kind of funny. Yeah, I understand it, sort of. So the nice thing about it, so when you use file paths, hold on. The nice thing about it, and like what you usually see, is when you work with a game framework, it makes it really easy to work with a team working directly with files. Because you can do stuff like dynamically load in PNGs directly from a folder, so your artist doesn't need to contact you to have things changed in the engine. You can do it all automatically for them, because you know what the format and how everything's going to be laid out and all that. You could technically make that happen in Unity or even Godot, but it's just like not as common. Godot does do like automatic updating, but then it doesn't update like the number of frames and stuff in an animation player, which Unity has the same issue with too, because they don't know what that is. Whereas like with A-Sprite does this really cool thing. Like if I hit Control E and then go over to, I think it's output, I can have output a JSON file with all of this information following a tag naming system. And then what that does is on an image that has multiple frames, it gives me back all of the XY information I would need in a, custom game framework to do in a custom game framework to dynamically load in that information without any input from the artist. So it makes some things easier to use file paths. You can set up things statically and stuff like that. And like, if you're doing your pathing this way, you don't have to worry about errors. Like, I just set up all my paths in a paths class that are all constant strings. Like, I change it in the one location, it changes it everywhere in the app. It's very nice. And this is more of a C# thing than anything else. Yeah, you can. The thing is I don't want my artist to ever have to open, like, Godot, if she doesn't have to. Like, my personal preference would be that no one ever have to open the engine outside of the programmers. Like, the programmers should be the only people to ever look at the code. That's my opinion on it, anyways. I don't have a problem with other people wanting to. Like, I don't have a problem with, like, if Felicia wanted to sit down and be like, I want to learn to code GD script. Fucking have at it, girl. That's awesome. But, and I would, like, help. I don't care to help. Like, that's awesome. That's great. Do that. But if I'm working with somebody and they are from, like, a graphic design background or a sound design background, I don't want a single person to ever open the engine to have to do what they want. I want them to be able to work in their own tools and just handle the output from their tools the way they would expect. Or build them something. Like, whenever we start doing dialogue for one of our games, I'm building a dialogue tool. But that dialogue tool is not a syntax tree. It's just straight up, they're building out nodes. I'm doing the blueprint thing from fucking Unreal because that makes more sense for them. For me, I like what you've done, actually, where you set up like this custom syntax structure that you just read in and parse. And that's really useful. That's really, really good, especially if you're a programmer. And probably what my tool will output is a file with that syntax structure, because I could then just use it on my own too. And it makes modding really easy. Like, I'm thinking about adding mod support to this game, because adding mod support to this would be really, really easy to do. As far as like adding custom cards and letting people create their own stuff. I think that'd be really, really cool to add mod support for this. Especially allowing people to create like custom spells and custom summons and all that stuff. I think that'd be neat. It'd be really cool. Make me happy. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm thinking of it. Instead, for me, each node would count as some dialogue or an action, and then like the way I want it to work is I want them to be able to trigger arbitrary actions, and that would just be like a string or a hash or something that would get passed into the parser, and then the parser would know based on the character what to do with that, and there would be like a default case of like doing nothing. Like, if you called show store on a character that does not have an inventory, they just don't do anything. That just doesn't, it moves on to the next node in dialogue instead of waiting for the store page to close. So, yeah, and like I need a way for them to set checkpoints in dialogue, because dialogue can be repeated, but I don't want it to repeat an introduction, right? I just want it to do the introduction and then set your new start point so that whenever you go and talk to them again, you don't like re-trigger a bunch of stuff. It's not necessary. And it allows me to do stuff like branching paths and stuff really easily. Yeah. By the way, something you might be interested in. A lot of it's getting started on this weekend. We're going to be starting an analog horror series. We're going to have a sister channel on YouTube to do, yeah. That'd work too. I would probably have it output a like error to the log, but then like actually just handle it appropriately so the game kept moving. But yeah. We're starting an analog horror series to prep for a game release, so it'll actually go hand in hand with a video game we're developing. Excuse me. Be a lot of fun. I'm very, very excited. It's part of the reason I learned to do some effects in Caden Live for the Instagram videos, because it was helpful. It's helpful that I can like sit down and show someone else how to do that if I need to. And on our itch account, I've started a collection. It's very small right now, but if I open up our itch account and go to, where is it? Dashboard post, upload sales, my library. I started an analog horror collection that I'm just, if I end up on itch and I see something that would work, I'm throwing it in here for them to use. And I'm checking the licensing ahead of time for these so that they can actually do that. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be fun. I'm not like heavily involved or anything. I do this stuff, and I might help a little bit with like making props or doing video editing or getting footage. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm excited for Hayden and Felicia to get started on it. I think it'll be cool. I'm excited to make the game. I think that'll be awesome. Very, very fun. How do I make a scary game? I want to hear the answer. Also, I want to test this, so I should do that instead of ranting. Don't show the, yeah. And the thing is like you really won't. There's not really so much a monster, which is what's cool. In this game. Okay, well, you did do that. Why didn't you? Did they not save? No, it saved. Method function referees. Okay, but the resource doesn't exist. Returns whether a recognized resource exists for the given path. An optional type hint. Take over past views. This method will return true for the taken path even if resource wasn't saved. I exist only in resource cache. And here it's from resource can be used as a type in i.e. image. Okay. Let's just real quick. Oh, no, there are two places that this happens. We have two update card methods. In the card swap page. The scariest part of a video game is unpredictability. Is he over there? What was that noise, etc. I like the psychological stuff too, quite a bit myself. Like a lot. I really like. I really like the psychological stuff. I think that's fun. That. I like cosmic horror too, which is like very much more cerebral as far as stuff like that goes. Also, yes, I know this is a very bad system that I've built here, but it works mostly. Yeah, like most of these play off of like expectation subversion. Like, you expect one thing and you encounter another. And we were discussing it last night. I really want to do a VR horror game that very much falls into that Lovecraftian sense of cosmic horror. Because in a normal game, you just can't get across the scale of what you're seeing, or just like how wrong it is. Because a lot of Lovecraftian stuff, it's very fourth dimensional, like shapes rotating inside of themselves because you're a 3D being trying to encompass this 4D thing, so the scale is all off in games. So there's that. The one game I thought that did a take on madness very well. I think it's Sinking City. Yeah, this game just got remastered. Very, very fun game. The Sinking City is like a Lovecraftian detective game. Very weird, very cool, and your detective can go crazy throughout the course of the game, and that is really interesting. One game, although might not look like it, did that to me very effectively. What game was it? But yeah, this is a game that like at points scared me. And like games don't scare me. Oh, that game does it really well. Really well. I also think there's so much you can do with sound design to enhance horror. Like removing ambient sounds alone just kind of freaks people out. Because like when all you can hear is your own breathing, that's terrifying. That's scary. I'm gonna go ahead and remove these because I know that these work now. Yeah, Yeah, me and an artist on Threads last night were discussing that it's the little things that, like, you don't notice it, but your brain does. Like, she had made this, hey, Bagel of Shame. Cool. The Bagel of Shame worked. I should set up the ghost card so that it also gets the Bagel of Shame, but Bagel of Shame. That's what we want. Perfect. That's great. Open up the ghost card, because these don't all extend from the same thing, and they should. But yeah, just like removing ambient sounds and using them at key points. Metal on metal, that's a terrifying noise. Just like a scraping sound is horrifying. Blink and you miss it kind of stuff, like just real quick pop in and out sort of stuff, where the player has to think, if that happens to wonder, like, was that real or not? Amnesia is another game that I think does fear really well. Like, it does this whole scaring the player thing really, really well. Specifically, Amnesia: The Dark Descent is really good. And it might also be the fact that it's like a classic and the graphics are kind of so-so, but this game is terrifying to me. Scares the shit out of me. Outlast is another one. Outlast does an amazing job at it. Outlast is horrifying. Cool idea, though. I like Outlast. Alien Isolation did it good, too. Yeah, Outlast scared the crap out of me. That game's terrifying. Now, what I will say that I don't like about Outlast, is Outlast relies heavily on its scares to be jump scares. Summer of 58, yeah. The main character, at the request of followers, goes to Russia to explore the abandoned camp. I meant by restless souls. Interesting. Interesting game. I like the lighting in this. This is cool. Amnesia also does the good thing of, like, messing with the player. Yeah, and that's the thing Amnesia doesn't really do too much. Because the jump scares in Amnesia are like, was that even real? You have to, like, it makes you doubt yourself. And I like that. What was it? Alan Wake, I think. That's AN. This game scared the crap out of me when I played it. And it's not like that horrifying of a game. There's just moments in it, and it really plays heavy with that psychological thriller bit. Most games by Clive Barker I find disturbing. I don't know if they'll show up. Yeah, Hellraiser Revival's the only thing coming up, and that's not even out yet. This could be cool, though. This game could be interesting. Clive Barker did, like, a lot of video games. And the ones he was involved with, in my opinion, are pretty good games. But I'm kind of excited for that. I'm excited for this a lot. I'm hoping to God that this actually comes out in like 4 days. I'm stoked. The mortuary assistant's terrifying. Mortuary assistant's fucking horrifying. And it shouldn't have scared me, but This scares me. Phasmophobia scares me, but I think the only reason Phasmophobia I find it scary is I've never played it on desktop. I've only ever played this in VR. I feel like I would lose a lot of like the fear if I just played on my desktop. But this game's horrifying in VR. Looks like you got a pretty major update too. I should really go back and play this again. Yeah. Alright. That should be all the Bagel of Shame updates we need. I should now go back and, like, refine that code. But... Bagel of Shame, Bagel of Shame. Hey, and look at that. No errors down here. Bagel of Shame. Woohoo! Bagel of Shame. It's doing what I want it to. Grab Fireball and heal the dead. And I think that if I click it, it won't do anything. I'm glad we got the Fireball working. Fireball working is great. Well, it's pointing at the error. The error is that it doesn't have an image. I use this specifically for visual stuff. I use this methodology because that's more useful than just not showing the image. Because if you're, depending on what the image is, you just might not notice it. Like this, that's hard to see. That's a hard image to, like, come across. I wonder what that would be. What would that acronym be? This game needs balance so badly. Do this. It's nice to be able to heal them now. And it's going to be cool once I get the entity that can heal in. Because there's going to be a healing, like, summon. I have an idea for, like, ooh, we could make it a Plague Doctor. A Plague Doctor, like, that ran around the field and, like, healed your summons would be interesting. That would be kind of neat, I think. Oh, damn it. I also didn't click on him. But I've gotten the majority of the errors I saw today. Yeah, L is the tough one. But that works cool. And then I think if I just click this, it does that and spawns the fireball, which gives me no errors. But then if I check my debug log, spell blood boil not in spell book, prepared firebolt instead. So that all works. That makes me happy. I like that the game is starting to feel a little more frantic, which was kind of the whole point, was to make this game feel a little frantic. And it's getting there, which makes me happy. I'm happy with how it's coming. There's like a lot of stuff still left to do, but it's coming along well, and I'm happy with how it plays at this point. I think I'm gonna get rid of this, where it like pauses the game and then you select your spell. Excuse me. What I'm considering doing is doing like the spell cards along the bottom or on the side of the screen, somewhere else. Somewhere like a little more, you know, fast-paced. So, like, that's a thing that I have to do still. But, yeah, like, I don't know what to do for the UI on that yet. But I think doing that would increase the pace of the game a lot. There still isn't a game over screen either, which needs to happen. Oh, and just to be clear, and I'm pretty sure you do already know this, all of this art is placeholder art. It is getting replaced for the most part. It's just like it's not yet. It doesn't need to yet. And the reason I put like some amount of effort in is so that she has something to look at and then try and make something new. So it gives her like a starter, like a place to begin with making stuff. But that works. That's not done yet, and it should be. I should just make this an animation. On some. Actually, it's going to be an animation on a lot of things. That's not going to be too much effort. It's just going to be tedious. Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely not. I mean, look at, what's that one on itch? I'm pretty sure if I just go to browse, it'll show up. Yeah, Voices of the Void. Not a very realistic looking game. This game's kind of terrifying, though. But there's nothing too realistic about this game. See if that one's on itch. Is it? No. Ah, yeah, this guy. Yeah, no, I've heard of this one. There's also, oh, what's the name of that game? God damn it. Let me pull up YouTube on a tab. Ah, I just typed YouTube and I remembered what it was. Faith. Faith is a game that is in no way realistic, but Faith the Unholy Trinity, very cool. This is what the game looks like. The animations for this game were done in a really interesting way. I watched the dev give a talk about this. And this is a really interesting game. But the way he did all of his animations, he recorded himself just like with a towel over his head or whatever. And then dropped the frame rate down to 15 frames per second. And then went into a pixel art program and then just outlined himself. And added a little bit of like detail for like blood and stuff for the animations and the cutscenes like this. It's really, really cool. There's a GDC talk on it. If you want, I can link it to you. Yeah, no, this game did well, clearly. And it's very popular. It's a very popular horror game. And I loved it. It's really, really cool. I've not played it. I need to buy it at some point. I'll need to buy this at some point because the dev deserves the support. They made something amazing. But it's a really cool idea. But yeah, very, very cool. The dev for this game's very neat. Other game that's like kind of scary, but not like horror scary. It's scary in concept more than anything, is Dusk. Which Dusk isn't like scary, it's a boomer shooter. But it's got that kind of like horror look to it. Yeah. And like honestly, of every game I've seen of yours, especially once you've like put filters in, the art's fine. Like it's fine. It looks good enough. My art isn't great, but like I do enough that like Felicia can come in later and fix it. And adding lighting to the game, God, helps so much. Like the way it looks now compared to where it started is crazy. Like our first versions of the game looked like this. And now it's looking like this. Like, this just looks better, and it looks better purely because of adding lighting to the game and some shaders to help. Like, writing a fog shader was really easy, but it was super useful. This cave one isn't going to have filters, probably, but pure handmade pixel art on 3D models. Yeah. Even, like, doing something like stylizing your shadows. Like, if you're doing, like, a pixel art game, like a 3D pixel art style, doing dithered shadows is a good idea. Like, just doing a dithered shadow looks better on that kind of stuff. And then there's stuff like Blood. Blood's a game that was made, like, this year. Blood Thief. Not Blood. Blood's a different game. Blood Thief was made this year. Has, like, pixel art, 3D models, and looks like a Quake 3 era game. But it looks great. Blood Thief was amazing. That's made by this guy, Blargus. Blargus has no post. But, cool stuff. And then if you need, like, artists, scrolling through Instagram's not a bad idea because you can find people who can do great work that just don't get enough credit. And I'm sure would love to partner up and make something cool. Just a thought. I should create, like, a load method for everything that, like, kind of does the error handling for whenever I'm loading stuff. I should do that. I don't know that I'm going to. Hi, buddy. Can you get off the computer tower? Please. You shed like a motherfucker, buddy. And that's just an open case. Like, I don't need your hair in there. Don't offer to pay somebody. Just reach out to people and see if they would want to work on something. If it's something you're going to sell, offer them a cut. Be like, hey, if it makes money, would you like a cut of this? There's a lot of people who were just down to want to make a game. Especially on the younger side. Like, especially people like in college. That's something that's been interesting working with Felicia, is Felicia will ask me how things should look, and I'm like, oh, you're the artist, like, nah, you do it. But she'll ask me, and I'm like, I don't know how to explain to you what's in my head. I don't know. I read a lot of books, and I look at a lot of pictures online, and then I just kind of remember it, and then imagine it. So I don't know how to explain to you what I'm thinking. And what we've settled on is me making stuff initially as like a rough draft, and then her taking over it after the fact. And she can just do her own vibe, and she'll ask me for, like, we had a stream a while back where most of the stream was me sitting down and going in and giving her artwork to choose over. Like, just sending her random game art. And I'm like, hey, I know none of these really match, but if you like one of these are some styles I like, pick something. These are some styles I like that I think could work well for the style of game we're going with. So there you go. Good luck. I would love to do the cards something like this, but this won't work in our case because I need to have the HP of the crypt available to you at all times. I should also do something like down here, like a progress bar on my screen showing like how long until the wave's over. I would love to do something in this style someday. I love the Cult of the Lamb style. This look is just so cool to me. The mix of 2D and 3D is so nice. Yeah, PvZ has been like the biggest inspiration, I think, for this game. I think the biggest inspiration for this game has been Plants vs. Zombies. Just like in concept. And going through, like, checking my notes against this stuff. Instead of hand on. Yeah. But yeah, going through like their layout, like the stuff that they have on offer. I think we've actually got more stuff than them, like, planned. And a lot less of ours are direct upgrades. Like, these two are direct upgrades of each other. Like, the pea shooter is quite literally the exact same as these mushrooms. Like, they're all three basically the same, just direct upgrades of one another. The free shroom is like a static version of the frozen pea shooter, and this is just a heavier damaged version of the frozen pea shooter. Like, yeah. It serves its purpose, but for my game, yeah, I was looking at that and just comparing a little bit. Hey, it's a bot. Fun. But yeah, just lots of stuff. Sent her this yesterday as like inspiration for the Grasping Dead spell. Let's see. Error handling for images, that's done. This will probably be done by next time I stream. Me and my girlfriend are going to sit down this weekend, and me and her are going to go over the difficulty curve formula. Because she is better at math than me, so. It was having you go to stops and collect supplies to put on your cart. This kind of reminds me of how I'm going to make game a roguelite kind of thing. Roguelite could be really interesting. It would... If you wanted to do the branching paths of a roguelike, it'd be really easy to do it by having your cart kind of lean one way or the other to select a path to go down, and then that determines what the next thing is. That'd be interesting. I think that'd be kind of difficult to do, but that'd be interesting. Yeah. The application's Obsidian. I'm going over my notes right now. Ninja there has been working on a game, so we were discussing that. But like a lever on the track. Yeah, I thought about that too. That could be interesting. I just wasn't sure like how. Ooh, you could almost do like, if you wanted to do something physicsy, it could be interesting if you did the way train tracks are changed in the UK. Railroad switch. This person's doing it. So this is so manual railway switches, and then there is an exchanging of a tag, effectively. It's very cool. It's used in a lot of really, really old railways. Autism. I like trains. Trains are cool. Yeah. Beanless, if you're wondering about the game I'm making, it's a kind of an RTS, quite a lot inspired by Plants vs. Zombies. At least initially. It doesn't really play like Plants vs. Zombies, but that was the primary inspiration. And it has a lot of temporary art right now, because I am waiting on the person making the art to get back to me. Not sure what I'm going to do for this. I'll go ahead and get this one knocked out, because that's easy. I just need to add a multiplication to the time scale for the projectiles. Angel bolt, speed, despawn timer, move. Instance dot timescale. I think that this should really... I think this can be a static class. I don't think that there's a reason not to make this a static class outside of the fact that I just didn't. Yeah, that could be a static class. I think you have a really solid idea, Ninja. I think that could be really cool. And then fire fountain, fireball, firebolt. What did I call that? Projectile. Do I have a projectiles folder? You're welcome. I'm excited to see the game when it comes out. Yeah, this guy. Despawn timer. Where's the move function? Also, by all means, you can call me when there is that. Ninja's just easier for me. I won't stumble through it. I can call you Wondrous if you'd like, but I will mispronounce it. Okay, cool. So that fixes the timescale issue for projectiles. The lightning doesn't need to have that, because the lightning doesn't move. I'm not sure what this will be. I might go through and look at Godot shaders to see if there's a decent shader that could work. Will you please get off the computer, cat? I love you, but you shed so much, buddy. Get down. Thank you. I think he's trying to catch the brain cell. He's been real dumb today. Have a good day. Let's check out Godot shaders real quick, and then I might end stream pretty soon. We'll see. Could do the dark noise. That could be cool. I could do something like this, and then could do something like this, but instead of doing the black and the red, I can just do a kind of a lighter white color or a blue to kind of indicate that time has slowed down. We can also do like a sound effect later on. This is a really simple shader too, and it just takes in the effect color and the radius. And then we just need a boolean of whether or not to run it. I think that'd be really easy to do. Could do something like that. Should also apply. I should also apply a shader to the targeting reticle to make it look a little more interesting. That could be interesting. Not for this game, but it could be interesting. That's kind of cool. Keep that around for the analog horror series and the horror game. Halftone spatial shader, not what I'm looking for. So far, the coolest thing I've seen is probably that vignette. And then we can just change the multiplication to be like a little less intense, so that it doesn't have quite as much motion as is evident in the video. Doing an outline shader on a sprite is actually a lot of fun. It's cool to figure that out. And it takes a minute. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to use. Is that vignette shader and just kind of tweak it so it's not so intense and give it a different color. Was that on the home page? Must have been on the home page. We'll go ahead and copy this out real quick. Go into probably the targeting reticle. I could do it in the targeting reticle. It makes sense. We'll do it in... We'll try to do it in the fog. And then here, we've got a color rect. Center container. We need another color rect. This is the fog, right? Yeah. Color rect. Layout. Container sizing. Container default. Okay. Why don't I see it then? Do I need to do... Yeah, I need to do the manual size, don't I? I added an extra 0 there. Okay. And then we will go to process, or not process, texture material. New shader material. New shader. We'll throw it into assets, shaders. Vignette. I think it's how that's spelt. Vignette. Vignette. Vigne. Swap the N and the G. Canvas item, good. Default's fine. We'll hit OK, and then we'll just open that real quick. Control A, Control V. There we go. And then we can change the color. Does something like white. We'll change the radius down. Its speed, we're going to drop significantly. Increase, so it's inverted. And then down here for color, Vec4, effect color R, color minus, and then alpha. 1 minus smooth step effect color alpha 1.0 color. So if I drop alpha on this, do like that, and then do like 0, 7, 1, so that's 1. Let's do 0.75. Something like that, maybe. And then can actually up our opacity or our alpha. We get this chunkier color. And then let's see what that looks like in game. See what that actually looks like on screen. I don't know why I'm setting my cards. It's not like we're actually playing. It looks interesting in a different way. Like, if we go here, we do that. And when we do this, that slows down everybody. I don't know. It's a thought. Also, these should have... These should be, like, above things. Just like in general, the fog should be over the other characters. Wonder if other things are affecting that. That's possible. Kind of surprised that if you keep this up, you're able to actually win. Gotta grab that. I don't like the black. So let's look in here. He's got the radius. Let's go ahead and increase the radius quite a lot. And then arc tangent, that's chord color. What's P? P times the radius. P is okay. That's closer to what I want. 3 gets us this internal thing. Gives us something closer to a circle. And then, like 1, that's really pinpointed. If I do 5, fun with numbers, because I don't actually understand what's happening here. I only vaguely understand. And now if I drop the radius, we get further out, and then we get more of a... Cool, so that gives us more of a circle look. Which is cool. I kind of like that. Power... Okay. Color minus whatever this alpha is. I could just say if the color is black, get rid of it, or if the color is less than a threshold. So let's do if color I think you can do 1.0. Does that work? Let's do 1.0 then. I do .r. Can't. So I could have sworn there was a way to if I turn Greater than or equal to 0.7. Zero, let's see. So that's kind of the opposite, so let's do less than. Okay. Invert it. And now we'll do 0.8. R is equal to 0.0. Let's see. I think I'm like starting to understand how this works. Assignment to uniform. Okay, that's interesting. Can I not set color R? That's cool. So what if I do this? So less than does the opposite. It just gets rid of that center. Okay. That's kind of nice, I think. Might end up getting rid of this entirely, though, and swapping it out later. We'll see. And that would just display when we were casting a spell anyway, so it'd be fine. Like, you're over the top, right? Yeah. Not quite what I want, though. I don't know why I just did that instead of deleting it. But I think I have to get ready. Yeah, it's 4:46. I should get ready to go. And, yeah, send my girlfriend a text. Have a good day.